This last part of the math proficiency test is the pedagogy part, and it focuses on these four documents. So this is the Mathematics 2020 grade 1s to 8 curriculum. This is the grade 9 one. The math questions were from, I think, the curriculum 3 to 9, but the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, of course, is in this document. Growing success and learning for all. So you need really to be familiar with all four of these documents to answer each of these questions. I am going to show you where each one comes. This just shows up to 12. There's 22 questions in this part in the practice test. So question 1, which term is not one of the four listed in Growing Success for evaluating and reporting on learning skills and work habits? So on page 55 of Growing Success, the learning skills are listed as either you can rate a student as having excellent, good, satisfactory, needs improvement. So see, there's no very good. There's good, satisfactory, needs improvement, and also excellent. That's the fourth one. Number 2, according to Learning for All, which practice will be most helpful when differentiating instruction? On page 18, a key strategy in differentiating instruction is the use of flexible groupings, which allows teachers to assign different tasks to different students individually or in small groups based on strength, interest, learning styles, and readiness. So C is the best answer for question number 2. Question number 3, in the curriculum context section of the 1 to 8 math curriculum, which strand involves the development of probabilistic reasoning? So it's data. This is on pages 485 and 486. You'll see these two specific expectations on probability. So data is the correct answer for question number 3. Number 4, which option is not listed in Learning for All? So this is which one of these isn't correct as an example of a formative assessment tool or measure. So on page 29 on Learning for All, you'll see this come up. So those are the ones that are listed. So so that's the first one. This is the second one, B. This is D here. See C, inventory of student interest. It might be a nice thing to do, but it's not an example of a formative assessment tool. Question number 5. According to Learning for All, what does the combination of universal design, it's often called UDL, for learning and differentiating instruction enable educators to do? On page 14, universality and equity, UDL is intended to ensure that teaching is tailored to draw on the strengths and meet the needs of all students. So that is answer A. Question number 6. According to Growing Success, which student behavior demonstrates the learning skill and work habit of self-regulation? On page 11, you'll find this. So seeks clarification or assistance when needed, and that is answer B. Question number 7. Which assessment strategy is not recommended by Growing Success to elicit evidence of student achievement for evaluation? On page 39, you'll find this. So observations, conversations, student products, but not peer assessment. You're not to be using peer assessment for an actual mark for a student. So peer assessment is the one not recommended. According to Growing Success, which principle is one of the 7 fundamental principles that guide teachers' practices to ensure that assessment, evaluation, and reporting are valid and reliable? So this is on page 6, and these are all of them. So I highlighted support all students, including those with special education needs. So that's D, support all students, including those with special education needs. Number 9, which option is not listed under the mathematical processes in the curriculum context section of interior curriculum grades 1 to 8. Now, this would be the same thing actually for grade 9. The communicating, representing, connecting are all mathematical processes, but in the context of this question, multiplying might be a mathematical process for solving some question, but that's not what we're talking about here. So these are the mathematical process in all the math documents: problem solving, reason improving, reflecting, connecting, communicating, representing, selecting tools and strategy. So the first A, B, and D are the ones that are listed, but multiplying is not one of them. According to Learning for All, which strategy of universal design for learning and differentiated instruction facilitates learning through a variety of different opportunities focused on a particular topic or theme? And this is on page 23, a project-based approach facilitates learning through a variety of different projects focused on a particular topic or theme, allowing students to work on topics of particular interest to them at their own level and pace. Question number 11. In growing success, which qualifier is used to describe student performance at level 2? So if we look on page 18, level 2 says your student is doing things with some effectiveness. So some is the qualifier used for level 2. Limited is actually level 1. Okay. Considerable and considerable and high degree are higher levels. And in fact, if I bring that page 18 over here too, see considerable is used for level 3 and level 4. Where's the qualifier? We're looking for a high degree, right? High degree of effectiveness for level 4. Question number 12. Which option is not a step in the process for developing an individual student profile described in Learning for All? And you'll find this on page 42. Provides detailed information, instructional strategies. So gathering information, instructional strategies, providing accommodations to help meet student needs. The one that's not listed is develop a new curriculum content. Question number 13. Which option is a learning skill or work habit listed in growing success? So this question is actually, some of the answers are actually from the achievement chart. Okay, so remember, this is about learning skills and work habits, not what's on the achievement chart. So if you look on page 11 on growing success, here's all the learning skills and work habits. Okay, so responsibility is the top one here. Okay, so that's the correct answer. See, these are actually categories from the achievement chart: communication, application, thinking. Okay, so but this is asking about learning skills and work habits. Number 14, as outlined in Growing Success, how does Ontario's criterion referenced assessment and evaluation approach require teachers to assess and evaluate students' work? And this is on page 19. Ontario, like a number of other jurisdictions, has moved from norm reference to a criterion reference assessment and evaluation. So teachers assess and evaluate student work with reference to established criteria. So you're not comparing students, you're comparing to whatever the criteria is for 4 levels of achievement that are standard across the province. So that would be answer D here. By referencing established criteria for 4 levels of achievement that are standard across the province. Number 15, according to Learning for All, which strategy is an example of differentiated instruction? And this is on pages 18 to 19. So using flexible groupings, different tasks to different students, individually or in small groups, based on strengths, interests, learning styles, or readiness. So that would be answer C. That's a strategy, is an example of differentiated instruction. We're not to isolate students. We're not giving them free play. That's not differentiated instruction. You're not giving every single student identical assessment all the time. guess my answer is circled already. According to Growing Success, which is the learning skill and work habit shown by a student who looks for and acts on new ideas and opportunities for learning? And this is initiative. Looks for and acts on. That's the word for word the top bullet. Okay, so that would be initiative. They're taking initiative. Question 17. According to the Ontario Curriculum Grade 9, Mathematics 2021, which strand involves students learning about appreciation, depreciation, and how to modify budgets? And so that's financial literacy. Here's the two specific expectations that refer to both those. So appreciation, depreciation, and this is talking about budgets here. Number 18, according to Learning for All, what kind of assessment identifies where the learner is in their learning, where their learning needs to go, and how best to get there? And that's on page 28, and it's assessment for learning. It looks at, you look at where the student is and how best to get where you want them to go. So and here's what's talked about up here, where the learner is, where he needs to go, and how best to get there. So assessment for learning. Question number 19. Which option is not listed in Learning for All as one of the 4 common classroom strategies to support universal design for learning and differentiated instruction? And this is on page 23. You'll see this. I just took a screenshot of the top part of the chart. So cooperative learning, project-based approach, problem-based approach, and explicit instruction. So see, there's the explicit instruction, problem-based approach, project-based, but see, independent learning is not there. So this would actually, if they were all the same, this would be cooperative learning up here. Question 20. According to Growing Success, what does a level 1 identify? And back to the achievement chart on page 18, level 1 represents achievement that falls much below the provincial standard. So that's answer D. It's passing, but just marginally passing. 21. According to Learning for All, which strategy of UDL, Universal Design for Learning and Differentiated Instruction, requires the teachers frequently model the use of learning strategy and assessment tools? And you'll find this on page 23. It's explicit instruction. Requires the teacher to frequently model the use of learning strategy and test assessment tools. So answer D. Question number 22. According to Growing Success, how often should communication with students and parents and or guardians about student achievement take place? And you find this on page 54. It should take place continuously throughout the course or year. So D is the correct answer for number 22. And that's the last question in the pedagogy part of the practice test. Just to show you, and of course you always get this, are you make sure and on the real test you can go back and check answers because you might have skipped one or not sure about one, but once you click on OK, you're done. I just wanted to show this a little bit at the end here. This is what the results look like when you take the practice test. They'll show you if you got the answer right or wrong, okay, but no, how to do it or why, like in this video. So that's what it looks like. And that's the end of the video.